Hey guys, how's it going? Ian and Phil here. We're the founders of Elite Living and Health, and we're here just to talk a little bit of shop today, talk some nutrition, talk about what it is that we do with the company, and I hope you guys all like it. Welcome to the Elite. What's going on, buddy?
What's up?
How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
You nervous? You good?
A little bit.
So Phil's a little camera shy, so let's all give him, a little round of applause behind the camera over there. There we go. All right, so, as you guys know, we've mentioned before, this is a telemedicine company. We work at, on preventative and functional medicine. We gave a brief synopsis of what that was with the Dr. Shahada. And one of the other components of what it is that we do is we run a nutrition program. Phil and I are both nutritionists. This is more his bread and butter, though. But essentially what we do, we offer a membership, and it's not required by anybody, but anybody who wants to partake within the membership and wants to be able to do the nutritional aspect of Elite Living and Health, they have the opportunity to do so. And I try to make it as fair as possible. So I will throw in free labs, discounts on medications and supplements and things of that nature if you are part of that program. Okay, so I myself, I'm a health and vitality liaison. I connect all the clients with the doctors, as you've met before, as well as with LabCorp Labs, who we have a contract with, and also the compounding pharmacies, and try to holistically help everybody. And then on the other end is Phil over here, and he's controlling all of the nutritional components of the members here at Elite Living and Health. Do you want to explain a little bit about your method or what it is that you do?
All right. So the way I do things is I like to do things a little more reasonable because nowadays there's so many different kinds of diets, like whether it be keto, intermittent fasting, carnivore diets, whatever. And to be honest, like the best diet for an individual would be the one that makes more sense for that individual to do.
Yeah, exactly. So essentially what he's saying is that, we go out there, there's all these fad diets that you see on Instagram and on TikTok, and someone's trying to do something that, they heard about, and it may not be what's best for them. I know for myself, there are certain things that work well for me and then don't work so well for others. I know, actually, here's a funny story between me and Phil, is that he actually doesn't do well eating so many fats within a diet. So like a ketosis type diet where it's predominantly fats and proteins, from what I remember when him and I were working together, he didn't really like that. Like, this kid loves carbs. Look at him. And he's shredded. Who knew that you could get shredded over carbs?
No, for sure. I definitely eat about like 300 grams of carbs a day, right now. And, I still stay pretty much fairly lean year round. But just to piggyback what Ian was saying, the reason why most diets fail is because it's not reasonable for someone to do certain things for extended periods of time. Like, for example, if you tell somebody to have like no carbs, or doing keto, for example, let's say no carbs for like 2 months or whatever, what's the first thing you're gonna crave? Like carbs.
Carbohydrates.
Yeah, so and once you start tasting that carbs, you're gonna go crazy. You're like, oh my God, this is great, I'm gonna eat a ton, and then it just creates these like unhealthy eating habits where it's almost like these diets become cyclical, like you do these drastic things just to lose some weight, and then, like you feel bad and like you start craving all these carbs and whatever, and you balloon up because your body's so not used to eating carbs again.
Yeah, and then not only do you balloon up, those are the physical things that happen to you, but mentally, I mean, what do you think would happen? It's someone, all of a sudden they develop these bad relationships with food. They ate something that we're not supposed to. They start, getting upset with themselves. I mean, I have a story of someone who we were prepping, and she had 2 ounces of steak more than she was supposed to. And she called me crying hysterically. And I almost started crying because that's not the type of relationship that I want to have to create for someone when it comes to eating food, that they felt that they had to punish themselves because they ate 2 ounces more of steak than what was prescribed on their meal trying to get ready for a show. And that broke my heart. And that's sort of where things shifted for me a little bit. And that's sort of, what Phil is here for. And he teaches more of a lifestyle approach to being able to eat and to be able to function and to be able to live the right way and enjoy life, essentially, right?
So I was definitely a victim of that, from the time we spent when we were actively competing in these bodybuilding shows. We developed really bad, I don't know if you remember this, but during those cheat meals that we would have, I would just eat to the point where I would just throw up and just lie in a fetal position after, because I felt like that was like, all or nothing kind of mentality. That was like my one time to just get everything I was craving out of the way, So, but now the way I do things is basically you can just almost have whatever you want, but like within certain parameters, you know, like, I mean, again, this goes back to like whichever way is more reasonable for you. You know, like some people like higher carbs, some people like higher fats, higher protein, whichever way is, you know, like I said, the most, the best diet is the one that works best with you, you know, and certain lifestyles. Like, I had a client previously, she had developed these bad eating disorders where she was like, you know, constantly punishing herself and doing extra cardio, you know, this and that. But like when you're doing extra cardio, you end up burning more than, you know, you normally would. And the next day you're just kind of setting yourself up for failure where you're just going to eat a little more just because you're a little hungrier. Yeah. And it just creates this vicious cycle of just constantly just punishing yourself and just like, you know, overeating, and just, it's a mess.
So you said something that was kind of interesting. So you mentioned that you teach someone to sort of eat within a parameter, okay? They could sort of be a little bit more free. They could do sort of what they want, but it has to be within a parameter. What does that mean?
All right, so a lot of times, like, let's say, for example, if you set somebody's diet at, just for like an easy number, 2,000 calories a day,
Okay.
right? And a lot of times, like sometimes, even if you're following macros, you're not able to like get those exact protein, carbs, and fats into your day. So like, let's say, at the end of the day, you have like some weird number, like 15 grams of fat, 5 grams of protein, and then like 10 grams of carbs or something, you know, like what can you eat to hit those numbers? So instead of, you know, just hitting those numbers on the T, you just kind of calculate the calories, what you have left for the rest of the day, and just have those calories as opposed to like just hitting those numbers like of the protein, carbs, and fats.
Got it. So, okay, so for people out there who don't necessarily know what this means, so he mentioned macros. So the macros are the proteins, carbs, and fats, right? Mm-hmm. And you're saying, what were the numbers that you gave? It was 15 grams of protein, 15 grams of fat, and
yeah, like 5 grams of carbs.
And 5 grams of carbs, okay? So there's a way to calculate that. Mm-hmm. Can you explain how it is that you would calculate that?
So for someone who has those numbers left for the day, so you just take so for every gram of protein and every gram of carb is 4 calories per gram.
Got it.
Right?
So for you guys hear that? For every gram of protein, all right, it's 4 calories per gram of protein, okay?
Yes, and for every gram of carb is 9 calories.
Got it. So every gram of carbohydrate is 9 calories.
Yeah.
So 4 and 9, those are the 2 macronutrients. We have one more macro that we're going to get into.
Yeah. So, and at the end of the day, you just have to
What was fats?
Oh, the fats was 9 calories.
What was carbs?
4.
Got it. So my mistake. There was 4 calories for every carbohydrate, 4 calories for every protein, and then 9 calories for every gram of fat.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's say you had those numbers at the end of the day. So you would just add whatever carbs and proteins you had left over, and you times that by 4, right? And then whatever grams of fats you have left over, you times that by 9, and you add those 2 numbers together, and you get whatever calories you have left for the rest of the day, right?
Got it. So you're saying that if there was 180 calories that were left on the table,
exactly,
then you have 180 calories of free food that you're allowed to eat.
Yes, as opposed to just like, oh man, I got to hit, you know, this many carbs, this many fats, this many protein. How am I going to get like some kind of weird food that like matches this exact, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like half a scoop of protein.
Yeah. Like,
or half of a serving, because most servings are 2 scoops or whatever the case, and you're trying to figure that all out. Instead, you're able to calculate that, and you're able to eat something maybe even a little bit yummy.
Yeah.
But you're still fitting within your caloric window for the day.
Yeah, and that way, if you're having something that you actually enjoy, it won't feel like such a task anymore.
Got it.
So
with that mindset, do you still feel that someone should be eating freely all day long, just junk food and crap and all that?
Well, so we're definitely not saying that. Obviously, you're going to be missing out on a lot of benefits of like, you know, the vitamins and minerals and certain like more, I guess, macronutrient, better
macro
foods.
And micronutrient dense foods.
Yeah, dense foods. Yeah. So I'm not saying like just eat Pop-Tarts all day.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, leave a window where you could kind of just enjoy yourself. You know, because like nothing is inherently bad. You know, like sugar's not bad for you unless you're diabetic or whatever. You know, like. Carbs aren't bad for you unless you have some kind of gluten or some kind of allergy or whatever, you know? So, just basically the way I like to do things is like, so you're able to kind of still enjoy the foods that you eat while staying within a parameter without punishing yourself and feeling bad for eating certain things.
Got it. So, yeah, I mean, that all makes perfect sense. So essentially, you know, we're teaching people, the normal people that are able to live this lifestyle and be free and to, you know, still eat proper foods, great nutrient-dense foods, but allow the freedom that if they have a family and they want to go out to dinner, they can still go out to dinner. So we do offer services at Elite that allow us to sort of, you know, pick apart who would be a good candidate for that and whatnot. So when I do my part of the assessment and I go through with an individual and I do that original assessment with them to devise a game plan, and usually that game plan will be blood work or such. One of the things that we do offer is an extensive food allergy test. We offer celiac tests, a lot of things to see if there's any type of allergies or gut inflammation, along with the autoimmune stuff. So we'll be able to prep you and coach you and, use a nutritional and functional aspect of that to hopefully combine the lifestyle that you want to be able to have along with the medical aspect of things that you or a certain individual would need based off of the results that came back, right? And that's a lot of what we do here in a nutshell between me and Phil. You have two of the best right here. Just don't ask Phil to talk for too long and you guys will be okay.